and welcome to Santos Javier TV and podcast. And with me in our studio, I have Black Lives Matters director, senior director, Mark Fisher. Mark, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Santos.
Good. Can you hear yourself in the mic? I hear you a little bit. Can you adjust the mic? Actually, that's fine. I think I can hear right there. How's that?
That's pretty good. Can you hear me?
This is perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, that's good. So, you are the senior director of Black Lives Matter in Rhode Island.
That's correct.
Can you tell us, about Black Lives Matter and its significance? And keep in mind before you answer that, it's Black History Month. So, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I consider every month Black History Month, but this is the one that has been allocated for acknowledging it and celebrating it.
Right.
So I mean, I am Black History. It's significant to me in regards that we get to celebrate the great Black men and women of not only America but that the world has ever known and ever seen. And I think that's, appropriate that we celebrate them. Blacks have meant so much to this country.
Good. And now we can start. Can you tell us about Black Lives Matter and its significance? What does it mean?
Black Lives Matter means resistance. It means revolution, rapid, immediate change.
And how did it originate? Like, how was it?
Black Lives Matter it's an interesting question because Black Lives Matter basically was a bunch of ordinary men and women all over the world who were fed up and did extraordinary things.
Yeah.
And it all started in the summer of 2020, as you know, with George Floyd.
Right.
And everybody just said enough.
Right.
And rose up. But Black Lives Matter is just a continuation of civil rights movements that have been going on from the beginning of time with, people such as, John Brown, abolitionists, Nate Turner, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We've been fighting for freedom, equity, and, justice, since we've been here.
Right. And it's like changed because we got the civil rights movement, and then it changed to I forgot what it is, but the thing is that we ended up now with Black Lives Matter. So, like every time there's like an injustice, like, there's a, resurface of, people that want justice, people that want, equality.
Yeah. And that's the importance of Black Lives Matter. It is resistance. It's a movement. It wasn't just a moment. It was a movement. It's a brand.
Right.
And those who represent that brand of Black Lives Matter, they have to do it with exceptionalism, and have to do it with class and dignity.
And how do you think Black Lives Matter has affected our community?
I think it has affected it in a good way that people know now that there is a movement in the state and there is resistance in the state to the status quo, to, business as usual, the normal traditions of the establishment. They understand that when we need to, when we have to, we can apply pressure. And a lot of these politicians and high profile influencers, they don't want that kind of attention. So it has helped us in that way. Right.
And, during this year, we, Floyd, and everything that happened and, the protests that happened, I understood that there were some people that were committing riots that they were not part of Black Matters because they actually got caught and they tried just to shame or make Black Lives Matter look like bad. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The rioting and the looting, I denounce that 100%. Yep. We are not interested in destroying our own city. We're not about violence. We're about immediate and rapid change through the legal and proper channels. Now, as far as these groups, I'm not going to mention any of their names that do take part in the looting and the rioting. I just think the media does a great job of grouping everybody together.
Right.
As far left wing radicals and, rioting and looting. And that's not the case. That's not true. So, you always have to take what you see in the media with a grain of salt, I'm the type where I prefer to let my work speak for me, and I just let people judge based on my record.
Right, right. And this is what we're doing, what I'm doing, this kind of work, you know what I mean? Because I want to get with the people in it, you know, not just like get, you know, like a general comment of what people, you know, I think that people did, or like you said, the media, you know, they cover like just the general stuff and group everybody in.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't say, oh, no, you know, this individually, you know, let's, you know, talk to them. Let's see what's going on, you know, deep inside. You know, so this is what I'm doing, the work that I'm doing, and getting people such as yourself here, you know, to to explain, you know, what other people don't understand about BLM. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people still think what they see on the news about BLM. You know, so that's why I got you here to clarify, you know, and make them understand, you know, what BLM is about. You know, it's not about violence. It's not about, you know, disrupting. It's about building communities.
And I appreciate that, you know, and I will add that, you know, people are going to have whatever opinions that they want, regardless. People will have presuppositions, you know, so even if, you know, the media portrayed us as, you know, Robin Hood, you know, and just guardian angels of the community. People who are against what we do are always going to see us in a bad light. So it's all about what the media portrays, what people already believe in their head. But, you know, the bottom line is, and that's why I'm grateful for you to bring me on, you know, you have to let the work speak for itself. And in what we have created, I believe, I've gotten enough feedback to know that it's more positive than negative. Right.
Of course. So I have another question. Does Black Lives Matters just protect, let's say, injustice between one group, or do they go across the board of injustice? Like they said, brown people, you know what I mean? People of color, or what, you know, do they protect everybody and, you know, try to find justice and, you know, with everybody else, or it's a one group of people?
No, that's a great question, because a lot of people really don't understand what this new movement of Black Lives Matter is. And, you know, we started in 2020 with protests, you know, to get the attention of the people. And then we kind of changed strategies to, you know, policy making, to economic empowerment and development, you know. But Black Lives Matter is an all-inclusive, new and revolutionary progressive iteration, meaning a new style of Black Lives Matter that has been formed for arming and empowering the minds of the people. So we want people to be mentally armed to deal with a world that has for so long left them behind. And so when we speak about Black Lives Matter, we represent all of the people, all of the communities that have been marginalized, that have been forgotten, that have been told that they can't, or they're less than, or they're not good enough. You know, the same thing that my community has been told for so long and for so many years and decades and centuries. So we represent every community. We are on the front lines, taking it on the chin more than any community. Let's face it, nobody suffers more than Black people. I mean, we've not only endured a Holocaust, but it's lasted 400 years. You know, and it's still, when you think about it, there's people today who were alive during the brunt and the height of Jim Crow. Right? And they were born to people who were slaves and former slaves. So we're not that far removed from American history. Some people call it critical race theory, but it's American history. So we stand on the front line, taking it on the chin for everybody, whether it be Hispanics, Asians, LGBTQ community, any community, indigenous people that feel underrepresented, under attack, marginalized, and disenfranchised. We represent all of them.
That's beautiful. Because, you know, it make them see that, hey, you know, like you said, you guys are the one in the front line taking it on the chin. I love that. But that way people can understand, oh, you know, they can help us too.
Right.
It's a community, not just one group. They protecting the whole community.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
a lot of people that, you know, they didn't know that, you know, I'm glad that they know that,
Yeah.
you know, if there's an injustice, or if, you know, that you guys, you know, we're gonna be there for them, for the whole community. Because it's like they said, it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We cannot just focus, on one group, but like everybody.
Everybody.
Because this is what America.
And all we got is each other.
Right. And what you said earlier about the Jim Crow and everything that happened, that it seems like far away, but let me tell you that little girl that was walked into school, elementary school, I think it was, by the martial law enforcement. She's like what, 50 or 60? She's still young.
Exactly.
I forgot her name.
I did too. There's so many incidents.
But she's young. She's like in her 50s.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Something?
That wasn't that far away. And, you see like I'm going to post a picture of her later so people can know who I'm talking about. But, there's a lot of things that people think that is, happened way back. Oh, doesn't exist. That was so long. No. That was like...
I just happened to be the generation that landed on luck. My parents always told me, you was born at a lucky time. You was born at a good time. Because I know what they went through. My parents.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are not far removed from the horrors of Jim
integration.
Crow integration.
And there's still integration going on.
It's still integration. It's segregation.
It's segregation.
Yes. The horrors.
It's still segregation.
Of both segregation and integration.
It's still, yeah.
It's still oppression, systemic.
And not just in America, but even all around the world, it's happening.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And, and the black person, the black man and woman on a world stage has been denied their proper place. And that's been done intentionally. It's been done systemically, and it's been done surgically. And that was to prevent us from taking our place on the world stage as the creators, as the inventors, as the diplomats, as the professionals that we are, that we show and prove every day here in this country.
Right.
So I can't, who am I to try to speculate as to where all, the hatred and the attacks and the targeting comes from. But I can tell you from personal experience that I can do everything, if not better, just as good as anyone else. And I mean everything.
Right. I mean, black people love America like everybody else. They just want to fix it and make it better. Quality, you know what I mean? They just want to
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's America. We should be leading, the world in everything that we do, especially in race. I mean, how are we going to interfere in other countries and we can fix our own problems here?
Exactly.
And it's like people just want to coexist.
That's it.
They just want to barbecue without some Karen calling the cops. So they're like, yo, listen to me.
Drink their Corona.
Yeah.
Listen to their music.
Let me sell,
in their own home, in their own in their own backyard.
But, fortunately, it happens. Some people, they just...
They don't like that. They make it their personal business
but you know what
to make sure that you're miserable.
They don't understand maybe the culture, like... Black people have rhythm and jazz. They want to listen to, to the music and barbecue and have fun. You know what I mean? But some people, they just don't understand, how that works.
No.
And
they need to have fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, how do you already kind of explained how Black Math has improved. Did you explain how has it evolved? I think you did, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
Pretty much where we went from protesting, and that was just to get the attention of the people, and that happened all over the country and all over the world, But the movement in this state, Black Lives Matter, has resulted in creating African American library, innovation center, school that teaches coding at the Institute of Science that Career Devos has sponsored.
Right.
Career Devs, excuse me. And so the students are taught to code. They're taught tech skills with the potential to make up to $50,000 annually, or no tuition. And they also get a $300 stipend each month. These are the things that have resulted as a part of the movement that we launched in this state, And so now we're into politics and into policy reform and just keeping pressure on, all the things that are important to us, from healthcare and housing to jobs and opportunities, pathways, policing, education, and all of those things, mental health, all of that stuff matters.
One thing that I have to mention that, Because if not, then I would kick myself in. But it's you know, it's a popular term, and I would like to have your opinion on it. And it's about police defunding. What do you think should be police defunding? What is defund the police? Or do you know? Are you guys like? Can you explain to me? You know,
I think that defund the police is such a loaded term that it loses its power.
Right.
Either way, on both ways. See, the people who want to defund the police, that word it doesn't help them, and the people who want to defund the police, that word doesn't help them. So when we talk about defunding the police, we're talking about just allocating funds to other programs that help people in our communities, as far as whether it's addiction, homelessness, lack of education, and
police training,
any type of training, as well as police training.
Right.
All of that.
Yeah.
We want to include all of that when we say defund the police.
I think the word defund the police is such an ugly word. I think that should be changed, because people don't see it as of what it is. They just see it, oh, let's take all the money of the police, or they just not give them anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's in a narrative that is not really what is intended.
Right.
Like, you explain it really, really well. You know what I mean? He's talking about, you know, some of the money that goes into the funding to go to other areas, other, you know, of the infrastructure of, you know, of the police in that community. Because when I first heard about that, like, I was like, all right, I can understand that. But I understand that in some states, not Rhode Island, but in some other states, I seen cops with military gear, tanks.
That's what we don't need.
And that I agree 100%. Yeah, they got way too much money on their hands.
Way too much money on
you know what I mean? But in other places, you know, like, let's say Chicago, you know, New York, even Rhode Island, I think if any, you know, like, yeah, we need, you know, more police, but we need more training. We need more training. We need more money to train them to bet the police. They need more betting.
Yes.
Where you come from, what, you know, who you are,
Exactly.
like. Are you a violent person?
Accountability.
Because that's another thing. They're humans, just like us. And just like us, they got mental issues. You know what I mean? Not every cop is just, or not every individually is, especially with the things that they see all the time. Maybe they're not, you know, supposed to be at that job anymore because they seen too much and their mind is, you know, and then they snap. You know, like the rate of suicide of, you know, of the police officers is high.
It's high in this country. In the richest country in the world.
Yeah.
It's way too high.
Right.
It's by like 50% higher than any other country in the world.
So they need, in that case, I agree, they need funding to help them out, you know, get them psychological help, you know, get them training. You know, what do they need? You know, like, and also to, like, when you go on the street on the calls, you know, maybe like there was they wanted to put like a psychologist or somebody else, therapist, I don't know what it was, to like work with them, you know, in case they were called for like a health mental issue, you know, because they're trained in the military way. And, you know, that, which means that, you know, shoot your target or whatever, you know what I mean? And they're afraid because they've seen so many things. And I don't know. That's my thought. That's you know what I mean. That's well, my opinion.
Let me just say this, because it's a great point, Santos, because defund the police is a loaded term, but it's no more loaded than Black Lives Matter. So again, it goes back to the person, their interpretation, and their presuppositions. What do they already believe about defund the police? What do they already believe about Black Lives Matter? And so I don't have a problem saying defund the police, because, again, like I said, as long as it gets their attention and they understand what the actual issue is, if they're interested enough to understand, then we'll understand we need police officers.
Right.
You know, we need law and order.
Right.
But here's the problem. When an officer screws up, he gets his badge and his gun taken away. Maybe a desk job, you know, with paid or no pay. You know, but when it gets screwed up on our end, then you destroy whole families.
Yeah.
There's murders, there's deaths, there's funerals, there's you know, grieving, and it's the same story over and over again. You know, we've seen it way too many times. It just happened again in Minnesota. They got it wrong. They did a no-knock entry and they killed this young man in his bed last week.
Wow.
Yeah, same place where the whole thing started. That's the problem.
That's with Breonna Taylor?
No, Amir something. I forgot his last name. But this just happened last week.
No, but Breonna Taylor.
No, George Floyd was in.
Oh, that was
that's when George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis. All right, all right. Good. So, how will you rate? Let's say that policing, the police, that law enforcement in the state of Rhode Island. How would you think that they do compared to other states?
I give it a D.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't mean, I'm not trying to be funny
no, I understand
or anything. I just think that from my experience, my personal opinion, I feel like we still don't have the relations with law enforcement that we need. I don't think they're in a hurry to develop relations. They're not going out of their way to improve race relations. There's still no accountability. More money has been allocated than ever before now to policing. And we're dealing with issues, custodial arrests in school, and just police violence and brutality is just a problem. And so, I love you, Chief Hugh, good man. Like you said, we're all humans, I've sat and, broke bread with him many times, and we've talked and everything. But as a entity, I would say that there's much to be desired locally.
Right. Yeah, it's like that reminds me of because what people really seek is accountability. Mm-hmm. If you do something wrong, like anybody else, you should pay for it. Yep. Just like what happened with Tamil Rice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Shot seconds, no warning, no nothing. A child. You kill a child.
And that's how it always happens.
And you walk free, and you got your job back.
Yep. How do you kill a child? How is a child a threat?
Anybody that will kill a child will get the death penalty. As they should. As they should. Anybody. But how will you get away of killing a child? And still get your job and your pension and everything else as if nothing was happening. And walk freely on the street and continue to do the same job, at risk of killing somebody else. Because if you kill once like that, a child, it was, the probability for you to kill again.
Yes. If it's that easy for you.
If it's that easy for you.
And here's the problem. This is how it happens all the time. I had a list just recently of all the black people who were killed, unarmed black people that were killed with no arrests and no jail time. And the list was heartbreaking. And it's just recently that we're starting to see some justice. But we still got a long way to go because we're not definitely far from around the corner. Because it can just as easily slide back to where it was if we don't keep applying pressure.
Right.
And that's what Black Lives Matter is all about. It's like one of the men in during Nazi Germany. He said he was I think he was a journalist, and he ended up getting thrown into one of the concentration camps. And he said the problem was they came for the communists. And I said nothing because it wasn't me. He said, then they came for the Jews, and I said nothing because it wasn't me. Then they came for the Catholics, and I said nothing because it wasn't me. He said, and then they came for me, and there was no one left to protect me. And that's how it happens. Mm-hmm. So we have to understand that if this could happen to me, or someone in my community, it could just as easily happen to you.
And he has.
Or someone in your community. And that's what I mean. We got each other, and that's all we got.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
But it has happened to many people, like of color, of another group, so another ethnicity, but they just keep quiet.
Yep.
And the thing is that right now everything is documented because of cell phones, which he just started in the 2008.
Yeah.
When iPhone first started, you know what I mean?
Imagine all the stuff that has it and still doesn't.
And I heard stories. Because remember, before that, you hear things in raps. Mm-hmm. When NWA came, saying, the police because of the things that they seen and happened.
That's what hip hop is.
That's what hip hop is.
It talks about what we see.
That's what jazz is. That's what the blues is.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what samba is. Bossa Nova,
Yeah.
Merengue, man.
That's it, man.
Bachata. That's we expressing ourselves.
That's it. So, how do you see the future of BLM, of Black Lives Matter? What's the future in store for BLM?
Well, we're gonna we got a lot of things, man. percolating on a plate, and it's all good. It's all about black empowerment. It's all about economic development, economic empowerment. I work with an amazing woman by the name of Leslie Moore. She is the president and the founder of the Black Bloc Rhode Island, where we elevate and promote black-owned businesses. She has space, plenty of space. She helps people with affordable housing that are going through challenging times. She pretty much has, a lock on, Pawtucket, downtown Pawtucket and Central Falls. We call it Sintucket. And that's what we're doing. We're doing it in quiet. We're doing it in silence. We move in silence. We don't want fanfare. We're not looking for help from the city. We're not looking for, photographs and stories. We just want to do the work and let our work speak for us.
Wow.
So we got a lot of good things to look forward to going forward.
And as you can see, that movement is growing.
The what? The movement.
The movement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You see internationally, like in other countries, like,
all over the world, brother.
And this is why I want people to, this is what I'm doing this. I want people to know what BLM is and not take it just from one view,
and I appreciate
of the media, but they get to see, because I never heard, of Black Lives Matter helping other people of color, other groups, other ethnicity. People just think, it's just for black people. It's not.
I don't know why they think that. And the reason, you know why? It's media. Because they're so fascinated with Black Lives Matter. Are we mad? Are we still mad? Are we angry? What are we doing now? Are we going to kill somebody? Are we going to burn something down?
That's Fox News.
Is it over? Like, they just want to know. Because that's all they care about is the stories about Black Lives Matter, And so they're always after a story, right? And that's why, like I said, we just work in silence. We move in silence. And, we definitely are not just about black people. That's for sure. We're all inclusive, but we do stress black leadership, black excellence, black exceptionalism, just like every other community. Right. The Italians, the Jews, the Latinos, the Asians. We want the same respect. We want the same equity. We want the same fairness. We want the same judgment, judged in the same way that you want to be judged.
Right. Equality.
Exactly. That's all we want.
Equality and accountability.
That's it. And everybody should have it.
Of course. It's America. That's what it is, So I think that's a way of fixing America. Yeah, America created Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? It will always have some hope in wherever there is injustice. Something will grow out of that.
Absolutely. Look at you. You're a black man. So I say,
no, I see
you're
it.
My brother. You're my brother, man.
I see it, because the way that I have, kind of study it and understand it. You know what I mean? I know that you cannot see the media, and some people see it and they just believe it's, what they say, and I'll say it again, Fox News give the wrong narrative of, BLM, and they see it as, look, they just burning their own communities and they're destroying their own people, they're doing this, but they don't see some people interfere, some people just, that want to give it a bad name, just, got into the group because you are accepted by everybody. In Black Lives Matter, I've seen whites, I've seen Asians, I've seen Spanish on TV.
They're our allies.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Used everybody together, but that was beautiful.
Absolutely. I was big when he was talking about Stop Asian Hate. Like, I was on the front line. Like, I have people come up to me all the time of every nationality, Asian, Latino, black, white, and just thank me. Tell me how much I mean, how important the work is that we're doing. You have no idea how important it is or how many people you help or touch. And it's those comments that keeps encouraging me, that keep me in the fight,
Right. And that's what it is. You just said, I just wanted to repeat it. Accountability and equality, not just for blacks, but for all racial groups that get injustice. You know what I mean? That includes even white people that, that, because, things happen. You know what I mean? So that's beautiful. And my last question is, where do you see the future of BLM?
I see it as far as Black Lives Matter is going to be a movement that is etched in American psyche, culture, and ideology, where they understand, almost like NAACP. But Black Lives Matter is the modern version of NAACP, where we ain't messing around. You know what I mean? So we'll do whatever it takes. It's not just Martin Luther King, but it's Martin Luther King with a dash of Malcolm X, by any means necessary. So, all over. Chapters all over the country. We want to blow up. We want to pop up. We want to open up all over the world and have that established presence known all over the world that okay, white supremacy will not be tolerated
Yep.
in any form, fashion, or facet, and wherever it raises ugly head, it's swiftly and abruptly eradicated.
And you guys have the means and the power to raise groups instantly.
That's
Everywhere. Project power everywhere. So again, Mark Fisher, Senior Director of Black Lives Matter, I want to thank you for being with me, Santos Javier TV and podcast. And I'll hope to have you here again soon.
Thank you, Santos. I appreciate you. Thank
You're
you
welcome
for the invite,
anytime,
man.
brother. Thank you so much. And like I said, this is Black History Month. And I want to thank you all for watching. And I'll see you next time.